In American society, money is a taboo topic. We're taught at a young age it's improper to talk about it, but we're also bombarded with messages about the power and importance of money in our everyday lives. And by not talking about it, we miss out on the skills and lessons we need to effectively understand and financially plan. That changes today. Welcome to Money Tales. Hosted by Sandy Brager and Cami Doder, Money Tales brings more than 35 years of combined professional experience in personal finance to demystify money and demonstrate what it's like to speak openly about personal financial matters. Join us each episode as they interview modern-day movers and shakers about how money decisions intertwine with their daily lives in order to give you better insight into productive financial conversations. Subscribe today and register for our blog Fathom at aspiriant.com/podcasts to increase your money mojo. And now, here's Cami and Sandy.
Mariana Saddakni is our guest this week on Money Tales. Mariana is a Latina trailblazer in technology innovation. Her cross-cultural money journey started in Argentina, where her family considered their wealth to be their intellect and capacity to learn. That was their status, not the money in the bank. Mariana's ambition to learn more took her to the United States for graduate school. Her goal was to be at the top of her game in design and technology. Mariana talks about the financial hurdles and achievements she has encountered as an immigrant woman in a male-dominated industry. As you'll hear, Mariana has navigated societal expectations and cultural shifts as she's worked to achieve financial independence on her own terms. Today, at the company she founded, Saddakni & Co., Mariana steers organizations through the exhilarating journey of AI integration, transforming challenges into opportunities and vision into reality. Her mission is to harness AI's transformative power to drive industry innovation and forge a future where technology amplifies human potential and creates unprecedented value.
Here are 3 key money topics Mariana hits on in this conversation. First, the power she felt as a result of her father ingraining in her at an early age that she'd grow up to be a financially independent woman who would never need to depend on a man for financial support. Second, what it was like to come to the United States in her 20s and learn about the American financial system. And third, how in Latin America, it's common to talk about money with good friends and how Mariana brought this with her to the United States. We hope you share this episode with a friend, and please subscribe to Money Tales on your favorite podcast platform. Now on to our conversation with Mariana Saddakni.
Welcome to the Money Tales podcast. I'm Cami Doder.
And I'm Sandy Brager. Yesterday, I had lunch with a friend from my neighborhood, and she's another financial advisor. We got to talking, and she was observing that many of her friends in the neighborhood have reached out to her with questions about their personal finances, but they were doing it in sort of a whisper. The friends' spouses were the ones in their marital relationships who were really in charge of the personal finances. The couple agreed, yep, you're going to take this on. But my friends' friends were saying that they weren't sure that their spouse was doing a great job with the family personal finances. And they were feeling a little awkward mentioning something to their spouse about this and trying to make a change.
Because of the delegation aspect?
Because of the delegation. And in one situation, the spouse was an MBA and ran their own business and had all the credentials on paper compared to the other spouse who's more of a creative to be in charge of the personal finances. But the spouse who's in charge isn't doing a great job, is the concern.
Sandy, that's so interesting because I think that apprehension to talk is the big issue. And I'm not saying it's on one party or the other. I think communication's hard. Someone has to come in, be open to listen. And then I also think it's challenging what you just described because you do sort of need to delegate in a relationship. You can't do everything. You can't be in charge of every aspect. So it's nice when one is in charge, but that doesn't mean, especially with finances, we can step out. Maybe it can be about dishes. Dishes, that other person can take care of it. Finances, we can't step away, even if we're in the other seat, we have to stay involved.
It's not prudent to check out completely. You're right. I think these money tales conversations that we're having every day are helpful to people in that situation because there's a lot of things they can do to get over that awkwardness, to change the relationship with their spouse by bringing curiosity. Hey, how are we doing? And what do you think of having monthly or weekly or whatever the right pacing of time is, conversations about our personal finances so I have a sense of what's going on too? And especially because I want to make sure if something happens to you that I could easily step in and that we're on track. That's where curiosity and opening up conversation can make things easier and can create a great glide path for getting into some of those deeper questions of, hey, are we really doing the right things for ourselves that support our goals?
So important.
And people can always reach out to a financial advisor, whether you have a friend who's one or not, to get a third party opinion. And that can help dynamics among couples as well.
Can sometimes help even in the conversation. Yeah, right. You bring someone in and they help.
Communication is so critical for finance. Talking, not only with a spouse, with friends, with your community. That's the only way we all grow better together, learning what is happening on the other fronts, for good and bad.
It normalizes everything. So keep talking about money
Keep talking about money.
anywhere you can.
Let's get curious with you. Mariana Saddakni, welcome to the Money Tales podcast.
Happy to be here, Cami and Sandy.
Would you introduce yourself and share a couple pivotal moments that have taken place in your life that really impacted who you are today?
My career, my professional life is as a digital transformation executive. My career started as a designer, designing products that were human-centric, and the digital layer came after, and I embrace it with all my heart because it's part of the change and the part of improving services for human beings. At the present moment, I have a lot of responsibility because I'm leading the AI revolution. I'm putting to service everything that I've learned in digital products and services, customer experience, operational excellence, to partner with businesses to survive the AI revolution. I'm saying survive because survive is what is coming. 3 billion people are going to be outplaced of their jobs in the next 2 years because of AI.
Jeez.
So if we want to talk money, we better start understanding how we are going to be able to keep making money in the future. And that it takes me to this transformational journey that I've been my whole life. I come from a family of hardworking immigrants that had been displaced by war, persecution, you name it. They didn't live like in first class their countries in order to come to United States and build a company. No, their path was hard and it was full of grit and resilience. I would say that that's one of the most important things that happened in my life, having that family, looking up, seeing the bad and the good. What I could see about them, what it got me here is their diversity of cultures, that it gave me the opportunity to see how so many different cultures think and act. I am half Italian, half Middle Eastern. I was born and raised in Latin America. I came here for college to United States, so I am a proud American immigrant, mother of a first generation American children. My husband is Jewish, first generation from a German Holocaust survivor. So I had the beauty of seeing all this to learn and get inspired that life is not going to be easy. The most important thing is be open to change, and that change is constant, and we cannot get anything for granted. Know your 401k, know your investments. We want to speak about money. Know your home, know your jobs. As I said, the AI revolution is coming for all of us. The only thing that is going to keep us alive is embracing change and being resilient to be able to move to whatever is going to make sense for you. So you say the pivotal moments of my life were being an immigrant, being born from immigrants, coming from cultures that are not the American culture, but they bring their best to the tapestry that is America.
It's important. That's a great introduction. And these are pivotal moments. And your background that created this grit and resilience is so important. Tell us a little bit more about this backstory. And importantly, when did money start having meaning to you when you were growing up?
Something that in that moment I hated it, but now I could see how powerful it was. Is that from day one, my family made very clear that I was on my own financially. We were a family of intellectual professors, college professors, and architects, where the richness, the wealth of our family was our intellect, our capacity of learn, and our minds were our intellect. That was our status. Not the money in the bank, not the show off, not the big car, not the big house, the authenticity of what we were bringing to the table with our minds, creativity and intellectuality was what it was cash for us. That's the first one. Second one, when I say that I was on my own, is I wouldn't have an inheritance. And my father, he was first generation Middle Eastern in Argentina. So he was not 100% Latin guy. He had like a lot of different influences. He said, "You're a woman and you will never depend on a man."
That was his message.
That was his message. You are always going to be financially independent. Comparing that with what I hear today from my circles, that was gold. Even if I get divorced, I love my husband. We have an amazing relationship and we're both fighting together this life and raising the children. I have my own. I don't need him. We cut everything in half and I keep going my way. And as a woman, that is power. That is a superpower. I never thought that I need to marry for money. I was good with my own goods. And that is what it made me also so strong that I know that I can go anywhere in the world. I'm going to be able to open a business and make money and live and raise my children. So those were the big ones. I would like to add another two because they were my family. They also taught me about the value of continuous learning, that mindset. And as I said before earlier, we are in a world where change is the norm. It is. And the only way we can actually embrace something like that, one of the pillars of change, it's a mindset growth. How much are we willing to learn? How much are we willing to unlearn so we can upskill and relearn? Finally, I would say, and this is huge, they gave me the wisdom, they taught me that the most important thing that I need to invest is in myself, in my health, in my mind health. So I feel myself that this is not about investing on a career. If I don't invest in my health, I'm going to waste all my money, my 401ks, my savings, in order to fix my health later on, the more we age. Having the time and the money focus on taking care of my behaviors, the behaviors that set me back, therapy, meditation, whatever it works for you, I invested heavily on all of that. I am at this point in my middle age. I look much younger of what I am. I am running marathons, I'm surfing, I'm skiing, and I am able to change. I started a new business this year. All these good stuff is what is allowing me to be the person that I am right now. And for me, that is money in the bank. That is, someone's call it karma bank. No, this is like health bank. So my 401k might not be what is supposed to be in the American standards right now, or my savings, but my health, my family love, how much we invested in growing better together, my community, how much I invest in my community are for me the pillars of my future and my present. There's this book, The Blue Cities. Have you heard about it?
I haven't.
They are the cities in the world where people live longer, healthier, happier. There's one in Greece, there's one, I think, in America. They're in different parts of one in Costa Rica. When you read what these people have, what they did in order just to be at their best by the time God or not God or whoever chooses or you die, was health, food and exercise, community, loved ones,
Some sort of purpose.
purpose, service. It was no one with there had like money in the bank for retiring at early age. It was not about that.
Mariana, I really appreciate you bringing to life this great foundation that your family set you up with and how they were having you think about your own ultimate financial independence and the need to really take care of yourself beyond finances, but your mind, body, and soul. I'm curious what you were sharing about your father telling you that as a young female, you would never be dependent upon a man. Have you ever checked in with your father to understand why he was telling you that? Because that's a powerful lesson, especially coming from one's father.
Since I was born, I knew I would go to college. My family are all entrepreneur, and my father and my mother, they didn't have full-time jobs. They were entrepreneurs and they were business people. They were architects and they were selling their services and creating their own practices and teaching. That's maybe what's a full-time job on the side that they had. Since day one, we were part of that. As kids, we are three sisters. My mom took us to the university, to the college, where she had 500 students under her. I don't know how many assistants and so on. She was very ahead of her time. She was taking us and we were playing always. The college was our field, our playground. I think that that's where it's coming from. It's coming from a culture where the woman and the male, they were equal. They were both professionals and they were both making their own money through their gift, through their learning crafts. And he always was with my mom the same. I'm not supporting you, meaning we're equals. Of course, it was not perfect, but yes, it was on the end of equality. He had three daughters. It was the same. It was just a rollout of the same process. We are equals here. And you're going to go to college, and that's non optional. I remember once I was in my teens and I was just like, oh my God, I want to be a flight attendant and I want to travel all over the world with all the respect of the flight attendants. And I wish actually that I might have gone that way. It might have been more fun and more exciting on that end. But he said, no, you're going to college. You can do whatever you want afterwards, but you're going to college. And I'm talking about like in a time where I'm in Latin America. Majority of my female friends, they went to college, but not necessarily, I would say the minority had a career. Yes, education. All women that are stay-home moms, they had an education, but not necessarily a career for X, Y, and Z reason.
How old were you when you came to the United States?
I was in my 20s. I came from college.
I think of this upbringing that's about intellectual achievement and less about money. And then coming to the US, where there is a strong culture around money. And like you talked about the flashy things, the big house. How did you personally digest that, feel about it? And even within your family, were you talking about this new orientation? And what do you think about that?
When you make a change, things change. Otherwise, you don't survive the change. And the reason that I came to this country is very ambitious. I was ambitious because I wanted to learn more and I wanted to be at the top of the game. I wasn't thinking about money. Being at the top of my game was to get into design and technology. I got into the first master's degree for design and technology for digital transformation. We were doing Web 1.0 back then, where we are right now, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and it's never going to end. Quantum might be the end. Who knows? I came here and I faced the 401ks. What is a 401k? I have money savings in the bank and I have REITs. What is a 401k? Pension. And I learned it and it was fabulous. So that was an added value. It was excruciating to learn it, but I learned it. And that was one of the big things that I learned from this American, I would say, capitalistic culture. What I didn't like is the big houses, the McMansions, the status. If you're a professional, you need to have certain standards. All those stigmas. I'm not saying everyone is like that, but the majority of the people are behaving like that. Something that I've done is I always prioritize what it was important for myself and for my family over the standards that they were put upon us. So all my coworkers that were in the suburbs, commuting between 2 and 3 hours a day, having these wonderful houses with swimming pools and country clubs at every level. I'm an immigrant. I don't have family. I don't have anyone that can help me with my children, but a nanny that I had to pay or a daycare that I had to pick up the children at 6 p.m. For the past 25 years, I've been working full time in technology and innovation and business. All my coworkers were male. I was always the only woman in the table. And I was just like, how I am going to be a mother if I decide to be a mother commuting 3 hours a day? I'm going to end up hanging myself from a tree instead of hugging a tree.
It sounds like you really kept your values front and center.
Exactly. So what I decided is to have a nice small apartment in the city. And I was able to walk, not only to work, but also to walk into the PTA meetings, being part of the school, and being part in a full-time corporate job as much as possible of my kids' lives. And going to the gym every morning instead of being in a train.
I love it. Your commitment to your health, all your priorities.
If you are okay making the decision of commuting 3 hours a day for the house, good for you. It was not for me. And I knew that it will end up killing me instead of becoming a better person.
You're making purpose-driven decisions that are aligned with your values. You mentioned that you guys have a very loving, open relationship and you're working together as partners. How did you guys get aligned on the same page?
I've been with my husband my whole life. He's my college sweetheart. So I grew up with him, basically. I became an adult with him. We met, and after 1 year, we were married and we decided to buy a house together.
That's a pretty big financial decision to make pretty early on.
We got our first mortgage together. That for me was the ring.
You're committed.
That was the beginning of a partnership. And we are partners. We have our highs and lows in the sense I do things better and I do things worse, same as him. We have a lot of space to grow. As always, couples, they always need to keep growing and learning and changing. But we became partners since day one.
That made the money conversations work out easier for you because you were on the same page and respected each other?
Same page.
Would you share with us? Did you have money conversations?
Since we became life partners and financial partners, it was always clear what we needed to do in order to achieve that. We had to both work, make X amount of money. When we moved together to America, we saved till the last penny in order to come here and pay everything cash.
Mariana, I'm curious. What's it like to talk about money with us right now for you?
Something that we do in Latin America is we always talk about money. We all know how much money we have, how much money we are making, and how much money we are saving. And I think that's so powerful.
Do you actually share it with friends, what you're making?
Of course, how much we make, how much we have saved, how many properties, values. I'm talking about good friends. You're not publishing that information when you take the bus.
Yeah.
We also compare each other. Hey, well, I'm not that bad. Or, yeah, well, I can do better. And why are they doing? And we're equals on that talk.
It sounds very healthy. I'm curious if you have those conversations with your American friends.
Yes, I try as much as possible. Yes, I do.
Do you find those conversations to be different?
When they see that I come from a place of authenticity and true curiosity, they exchange. Yes.
Isn't that amazing? Because I bet if you talk to someone outside that circle, they might not feel the same way, but because you approach it without judgment, with great intentions, with curiosity, it sounds like you have successful money conversations with your friends.
Completely. And it has been so helpful, even for them to understand where I'm coming from. My American friends, they come to my apartment and they say, oh, how could you live in this city for so long? It's so stressful, so negative. And this apartment is too small. And I was like, I'm so happy here. I don't need more. Of course, I would love to have an apartment 3 times the size of mine. I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. Hello. The life that I decided to have with the money that I make won't be able to afford it, or it would be excruciating, and I would have to work on things that I don't like, and they will make me so unhappy and sad. In order to afford that, it's not worth it for me. No, I'm not in banking. I am not in finance. I don't work for a hedge fund. I don't make that kind of money.
You seem happy.
Exactly. I don't seem, I am. I'm truly fulfilled. That it doesn't mean that I don't have my anxieties every night of like, okay, no, I cannot retire tomorrow. No, I can't. I don't have the luxury. I am that the 10% of American. I'm so lucky already. So blessed. Why do I have to approach life from a lack of scarcity and not having enough when I do have enough? I can choose to have more, yes, but I do have enough.
That's really an important message. And you also said something, Mariana, about your nighttime anxiety. By you bringing that up, it's so important because everyone has that. Talking about it brings air to it. It can make it smaller than it is, takes away any of the shame. And I really appreciate you being so honest on the podcast that we all have it.
Yes, we do. I own my decisions. I could always do better. I could always learn. Life is long, and I am not planning to stop anytime soon. I belong to an executive women organization, and I was in a meeting. We were 5 women, from which, from these five, 3 are financially savvy. They work in finance, CFOs, and so on. They can retire tomorrow. They don't have children. There's beautifully single, powerful women, middle age. And I was like, I have 2 choices here. One is I compare myself to them and I want to kill myself. Or I am like, amazing, because this is the path you chose and is the knowledge that you had since the beginning of your career. I think that anyone needs to learn as much as possible about finance on the side. And I am a little bit behind on that, if I'm going to be honest. As soon as I have some intellectual space in my brain, that is something that I would like to learn more about.
Mariana, this has been such a fun and insightful conversation. Tell us, what's your next money conversation going to be and who's it going to be with?
Well, I'm starting my own business this year. I decided after 25 years of working full time for corporate America that what I'm bringing to the table, that is digital transformation. I am a founder and a partner. And that is going to be a huge money conversation that I'm going to have with myself and to educate myself how this works. This is a new for me. So that it's an amazing learning of how to become an entrepreneur and learn from tax deductions to business accounts to the whole thing.
Look at all that financial knowledge.
That is my next money conversation, how to become a successful entrepreneur on the financial side. Lots to learn in there.
That's great. Tell our listeners, where's the best place for them to find you?
Best place to find me is in my website, www.saddakni.com. That's my last name, is saddakni.com, or in LinkedIn.
Mariana, it's been fabulous to talk with you today on Money Tales. Thanks for sharing your grit and resilience and your openness to change and your authenticity. Thank you.
Thanks for giving me the space to exchange ideas with you both. Thank you, Sandy and Cami.
Thanks for listening to the Money Tales podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, share it with someone you think would benefit from listening. And leave us a review on your favorite podcasting platform. Your ratings and reviews help more people find our podcast. If you're inspired to gain clarity and peace of mind about financial matters, don't hesitate to reach out to our team at Aspiriant. Go to aspiriant.com/start a dialogue. Or you can email Sandy and me at podcasts@aspiriant.com. See you next time.